Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is another edition of Politics on the Street. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yesterday, there was a drama in the House of Senate, and the Senate President, Senator Akpabio, suspended Senator Adbul Ningi for him to have come out openly to have said that 2024 budget was padded with over 3.7 trillion. He said that money was traced to any project, was not traced to any project. And then he said that the money was to be shared among the Senate President and some top senators in the House. Sir, how will you react to this, sir? Do you think coming out to suspend him without making investigation is the right thing to do, sir?
We have seen a very weak Senate right from the time General Buhari came into power. We have seen a very unfortunate Senate when Ahmed Lawal was the Senate president. We have seen a more weaker and corrupt Senate, weak, very weak, fairly rubber stamp, led by President Akpabio. It's unfortunate that Nigerians are experienced these two people this time around, and that is why the Nigerian system, the economic system, has continued to somersault before their very eyes. What is happening in the Senate? I won't say that the Senate is a stinking Senate for now, but I will say that is the most, corrupt, compromised Senate in the history of Nigeria. For instance, when Senator Abdul Ningi from Bauchi, coming from the PDP, made that allegation, Nigerians, we are not surprised because it has been a norm in the Senate where certain interests or certain factor plays a major role in trying to smuggle in funds they are made to be shared at the end of the day under the name of project or under the name of one thing or the other. You understand? That's how it goes in the Senate. But this man mustered courage. A lot of people have been saying it that Senator Abdul Ningi deserves an award for coming out openly to tell the whole world that this budget they are talking about, that's up to 27 trillion, about 3.7 trillion of that budget was, cannot be traced to any project. So it was actually padded. But unfortunately, these senators, have a way of, romancing themselves, playing to the gallery, and all of a sudden, instead of calling for independent investigation to determine actually what Ningi Abdul is saying, maybe because he's from the opposition, they now ganged up, before you know it, they are talking about suspension. It's quite unfortunate. And of course, the man also resigned as the chairman of Northern Senators Forum. But then notwithstanding, we are looking closely to certain allegations that still being unveiled against Akpabio-led Senate, that a certain amount of money, about 500 million, were secretly, being looted or being shared, but to some senior senators.
Who are the senior senators?
I don't know what they mean by senior senators. I think that's still call for surveillance. That's still call for the civil society organization to stand up and demand a transparent investigation into that allegation and let Nigerians know who are the senior senators. It's quite unfortunate that we are having a Senate, that have pioneered, or have piloted Nigeria to the dog drum of economic hardship under the watchful of one of the worst senators in the history of Nigeria. These things cannot happen under Senator Bukola Saraki. We know how he stood and defended the interests of Nigerians and the masses against a tyrant system that is, virtually agenda was to borrow and borrow and borrow and consume. That is how they came about the looting of 30 trillion that was being believed, but that was printed money that was printed under Emefiele as the CBN governor under Buhari's watch and was shared secretly by the Buhari-led administration. It's unfortunate. Nigerians have come to understand that we are not there yet, and this thing keep on happening in our very eyes. It's quite unfortunate. And on this case now that is trending, in the Senate, we need to know actually, how Ademola, one Ademola Senator, Ademola, I don't know how they call him. Yeah, they say his name is Yayi,
Okay.
or something. Who happens to be the chairman? Who happens the chairman of the Senate appropriation in that house? Coming out openly to mobilize his people, whom they believe have the same interest at hand. On moving emotion for the suspension of Senator Adbul Ningi. It's quite unfortunate.
Sir, don't you think it's a sad development? Now, the budget was passed in January, 1st of January 2024. Now, Nigerians have not even seen the effect of the budget. Some persons are already sharing the funds meant to bring development in their life. Don't you think it's a sad development, sir?
Budgetary funds have been that is the norm there. You can see some time ago when Akpabio committed a blunder, and the whole thing leaked all over Nigeria, where he was parting millions of naira to senators for their weekend. That is how it is. So as you are looking at them, they have billions of naira in their coffers. They can afford any luxury. They are living like emperors in their respective homes. While Nigerians continue to struggle over lack of wicked policies that was being thrown to Nigerians in terms of I don't know what they are senating there. They are senating zero of nothing to write home about. It's unfortunate that somebody, of course, Nigerians know that the coming of Akpabio is not going to bring any good tidings for Nigeria, and they have continued to see it play out, without any form of sign that the budgetary funds, will be used judiciously and under the scrutiny of the Senate. You see, there have been this romance between the Senate and the so-called presidency, on the issue of how the money that made for the budget will be shared and looted.
Lastly, before I let you go, yesterday, after the suspension of Senator Adbul Ningi, now the Senate President met with President Tinubu yesterday. Now, Nigerians were not informed what the both of them was. Now, would the President be even praised on the Senate President for suspending Senator Adbul Ningi?
That's what I'm saying. They are looking at it from the opposition angle, that he might not be part of the inner caucus that decides how for budgetary funds for projects will be allocated or shared, on what is going to who and what. These are experts in corruption. As you see them, that circle, that APC circle, look at them very well. We know what Akpabio did the NDDC. Yeah. We know how much he stole. We know how much he stole in Akwa Ibom. We know even who are these people that are there. They are the same, corrupt elements, from their respective corrupt professional background, coming together. Of course, the looting continue. They are not thinking. If they are thinking, Nigeria would not have gotten to this level now, where a bag of rice goes for 100,000 naira. You can barely afford bread. A loaf of bread goes for 3,000 naira, and they are saying they are floating what policy best known to them. And experts has come out to say publicly, that it looks like Tinubu administration seems to have, thrown it all to the gutters, under the pretense that there's a light on the tunnel.
There's a light in the tunnel.
Then, secondly, let me make a reference to the trending news on the development of one of the biggest kidnap in the history of Nigeria.
Thank you for coming to the show, sir.